Hey, good morning, everyone. First, I want to say thank you for everyone that's jumping on the Zoom today. Really appreciate taking your time out of the day to jump on with Chad and I. But first, I want to just do some introduction for those who are not familiar. My name is Tillman White, work with the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol, work with our supply side of the program, our growers, gin, merchants, and cooperatives.
Hey, and I'm Chad Brewer, a consultant for the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. Definitely glad to see y'all this morning.
And again, thank you for joining today. What we're going to do is go through some updates we have with the enrollment process and some changes we have within the platform. And then towards the end of the presentation, we're going to touch on a little bit about the Climate Smart grant that the protocol is working with. So throughout the presentation, if anybody has any questions, just please feel free to drop a question down in the chat below. And at the end of both of our presentations, we'll get to those questions and just go through them and answer them as best as we can. So again, just please feel free to drop as many questions you have throughout the presentation. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So first, what I want to do for those who might be in the meeting today that are not familiar with the protocol, I want to just give you an overview of what the protocol brings. So the program was launched back in 2020, and it was designed to set a new standard in sustainably grown cotton in the United States. Our program offers transparency throughout the supply chain for our brands and retailers that is backed by verified data from our grower members. And from that data, we're able to generate environmental metrics from our input data from our producers. And then from there, our brands and retailers can then make claims on those metrics. Another point of the protocol I like to talk about with our brands or with our members throughout the program is our board of directors. I think it's important for our members to know that the program is in good hands. We have members of our board that cover the entire segment of the cotton industry. And I think it's just, again, important for them to know that the program is headed in the right direction and that it's being governed by different segments of the entire cotton industry. And one other thing I want to talk about before we jump into some of our updates is how do our members enroll into the program? So first, I think it's important for any members who are interested about the Trust Protocol to go to our website and explore all the different avenues we have on our website. You can look at all the different members, the different roles they play within the platform. And from there, then they can decide if they want to join the Trust Protocol. And here I have listed right here is some of the different grower requirements we have when a producer wants to join the program and wants to explore how, what it takes to become a member of the platform. So here we have 6 different steps that really list what our producers go through when they become a member of the protocol. So the first thing they do is just sign a privacy statement between the platform and that producer. And then after that, they're just going to fill out some information about their operation. So they'll select who they gin with, who they market their cotton with, and then they'll input some farming information as far as the cotton acres that are planted, the county and state, some contact information, and then also the entities and partners that are associated with their operation. And the 4th step that our producers go through is a self-assessment questionnaire. And that questionnaire just covers a wide variety of information about their farming operation. So it covers anything from crop protection, nutrient management, soil information, all the way to worker well-being, again, across the entire operation. And the step 5 is one of the last steps our producers go through, and that is the field print analysis section. So our producers go into that section, map out a minimum of 10% of their planted cotton acres. And from there, they can then answer field-specific questions to the fields they mapped out within the protocol. And then finally, they go through an agreement where they sign with the protocol that they sign to agree to continuous improvement on their operation. And then also they have the opportunity to be selected for verification. So now over to kind of the main point of our meeting today is talking about some enrollment updates and some changes we have with our timeline for the Trust Protocol. And with that, the first thing I want to point out is a market perception. Me and Chad have been talking over the last 2 or 3 months and listening to some of our members, all the way from our growers, all the way to our brands and retailers, and just, listening to what they're saying to us and some of the questions that they're bringing up. And one of the first things that we hear some market perception about the protocol is that bales are being marketed with the protocol stamp. The second thing we're hearing is that from our brands is they're not seeing the supply of protocol bales within the system. And then thirdly, we're getting asked, what is the difference between protocol bales and U.S. cotton? And so today, I think what we're going to go through is going to help address some of these questions and perceptions we're hearing from our different members. So first, I think it's important to look at or how and when growers are getting enrolled into the platform. Of course, earlier I showed you how a grower becomes a member of the protocol, so they go through those enrollment steps. But it's also important to see when they're getting into the platform. So historically, what we do is we open enrollment up around March or April of a particular enrollment year, and then 12 months later, the producer has 12 months to enroll into the platform. And this slide right here shows you the 2021 enrollment. And you can see we opened enrollment up around March and April. And then from March all the way to January, we had around 48% of producers getting into the platform and enrolling to the program. After that, as soon as we hit that deadline around March or April that following year, we see a spike of growers, a little over 52%, getting enrolled into the platform. Similarly, we see the same thing when it comes to our bale uploads. So as soon as producers are getting enrolled into the platform, that's when we're seeing bales also getting uploaded into the protocol. So again, this is coming from the 2021 enrollment period, so the 21 bales. And you can see here, as soon as harvest and ginning season occurs, all the way up into around February, we had around 23% of our volume uploaded into the system. And then following that, from February to April, when the deadline occurs, we see a spike of when bales are being uploaded into the system. And the last slide I want to show you is when cotton is being marketed throughout the entire US. So this data right here is from 2015 to 2020. And you can see that, of course, the majority of US cotton is being marketed throughout the year, but more than 50% of it is being marketed during that critical period of November, December, and January. And it's important to take a step back and look at those two slides before. So we have the critical period of when bales are being marketed in November, December, and January. And majority of producers and bale uploads are occurring after this critical period. So this is where me and Chad sat down and started thinking, what can we do to fix this and align with the industry and make sure that we're aligned with this important market? And now I'm going to hand it over to Chad.
Thanks, Tillman. So again, if you got questions about this, feel free to drop it in the Q&A section, because we're going to continue through this presentation. So during that critical period when 50% of the crop's being sold, we estimate that there's only about 23% of the protocol bales visible to marketers to actually market. And we estimate further that the initial warehouse receipt that those bales receive, about 70% of those initial receipts are wrong. So it's no wonder that folks can't see the protocol bales or say that they're in short supply. So with some of these changes we're making, we estimate that even without changes in enrollment, without enrolling more producers, we should be able to more than double the amount of bales that are visible to be marked during that critical November through January timeframe. So here we are at we finished up 2022 enrollment, as most of you know, and we're beginning to think about, okay, well, what can we change to fix this issue? We want to increase the visibility of the bales. And what we were really after is we want enrollment and bale upload to coincide with this critical period during the marketing year when about half the crop is being sold. So here we are, like we said, at the end of the 22, and what we'd like to do is open enrollment for the 2023 crop year on May the 1st. So we're going to open enrollment for the 2023 year on May the 1st. and we will close enrollment for the 2023 year on September 1st, 2023. So in 2023, we're going to be open throughout the summer months from May 1st to September 1st. This will allow us to be fully enrolled by the time the gyms start running in September, and our bail uploads can begin to happen, and we'll have the bails verified by the time that critical period occurs in November through January. And we're doing this because our intent is from 2024 and moving forward, we're going to begin our enrollments on January 1st and run them through the end of April. So we had to figure, so 2023 is the year whenever we get to adjust our timeline to hit that January 1st, 2024 opening. So why is 2023 the year when all this can happen? 2023 is the time when we're going to have the Climate Smart grant from the USDA that actually incentivizes enrollment into the trust protocol. 2023, we also have the ability with Cotton Host and Telmark to make bail uploads much easier. A little bit of money for website programming from the Climate Smart grant. And additionally, because we're going to change our enrollment timing, we were able to go out and procure 2 different companies to run our third-party verifications. And that is going to increase the staff that are available to do the verifications. And speaking of staff, because of the Climate Smart grant, we're going to be able to hire more protocol staff. So having more hands available to do the work for 2023. So let's talk a little bit about the Climate Smart Cotton Grant. So you may have heard about the USDA Climate Smart Commodities Grants. Trust Protocol received one of those and is a lead partner for a $90 million grant from the USDA. We are working with universities and multiple stakeholders throughout the industry, but Trust Protocol will be the lead partner for this grant. Let's run through some of the highlights of this grant. So our goal in this grant is it's a pilot project. So it will only enroll 1,650 cotton growers across the United States within a 5-year period. The first level of involvement in the grant, growers must be a member of the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. We will also, through this grant, be able to provide technical and financial assistance for the adoption of some climate smart ag practices. And we aim to produce about 4 million bales of climate smart cotton across the 5-year life of the program, which will be available for brands and retailers to merchandise. The Climate Smart grant has 3 different levels. Level 1 is essentially enrollment into the trust protocol. Level 2 will be adoption of a climate smart practice. And level 3 is growers that adopted those climate smart practices will be able to participate in the new carbon markets. We'll take a look at each one of these in a little more detail. So level 1 requirements. Growers that would like to enroll in the Climate Smart program must be fully enrolled in the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol by September 1st. During that enrollment process, they will be able to select that they want to enroll in the Climate Smart program, but they must be one of the first 1,650 farmers to select that option. The incentive for enrollment is we'll be able to pay $5 an acre for the acres that they enroll in the field print calculator inside the protocol for a maximum of $3,530 or 706 acres. The final requirement for level 1 participation is to have bales uploaded into the protocol system by March 1st, 2024. Level 2 enrollment will also be tracked during the Climate Smart application. So they'll have the option to say, yes, I'm interested in a practice change. So our 3 practice changes are cover crops for $25 an acre, reduced tillage for $5 an acre, and nutrient management for $5 an acre. So some of the questions that we get around these practice changes are from early adopters. And what I would like to address now is that, for instance, in your cover crop adoption, If you're running from a single species to a multi-species cover crop, that is technically a practice change. Or in your reduced tillage operations, if you're moving from conventional till to reduced till, or from reduced till to no till, those are qualifying practice changes. And of course, a nutrient management plan is managing how the fertilizer is applied and how and when fertilizer is applied. So we are going to have the ability to hire an agronomist here for the Climate Smart grant that will be working with individual producers to find solutions for their farm and see how we can adopt these practices on individual farms when in situations where it's not straightforward. Also, these producers that are enrolled in level 2 will be contacted by a environmental services market provider. And that way, this third party will be verifying that the practice changes were actually made, and they'll communicate that back to the trust protocol, and the trust protocol will be the ones actually facilitating the payments. So in level 3, the producers that were enrolled in level 2 and actually made those practice changes, they will have the option to be involved in carbon markets and actually sell carbon offsets or insets through various market opportunities. Although one of the requirements for this entering into those markets that we will be doing soil sampling across all the enrolled fields. So the take-home message for 2023 enrollment is that farmers must enroll in the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol from May 1st to September 1st, 2023. Also, be on the lookout for a notice from us here at the protocol whenever the Climate Smart Cotton Grant is finally finalized and granted to us. We're going to open enrollment on May 1st regardless. And then, but if the grant occurs later than that timing, we'll be making a broadcast out to all of our members and partners. And also, farmers that are interested in that Climate Smart grant must be one of the first 1,650 farmers to enroll through the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol.